added that, and that became corroborating evidence of him being there and further helped the prosecution case rather than really supporting his defense.
Yeah, I believe the jury really, they came out afterwards and said that surprised them, that the defense had presented that during closing arguments, and they only presented it at that point in the case. What was behind the strategy to doing that, and did that sink him at that point?
I don't know what was behind that strategy. I would not have done that. You know, he didn't take the stand in his defense. I don't know what their investigation found. They didn't present any evidence showing that their investigation was different than what the prosecution's investigation was uncovering. So it was a real risky move for them to try to say, it looks like he may have done it, but I'll tell you that he was there, but he actually didn't do it without any evidence to support it. It turned out to be not a wise move because, of course, he was convicted first-degree murder.
Brian, prosecutors called more than 130 witnesses. Does that number help Hernandez with his appeal, considering all the possibilities that something perhaps was done wrong during that process?
Not really. You know, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, which a first-degree murder conviction triggers that sentence in Massachusetts, but it also triggers an appeal. But the appellate process only deals with errors that occurred during the trial. It doesn't going to re-look at the jury's verdict or reweigh the evidence. It's going to look at errors that possibly were committed by the judge or the attorneys. So he's got a long road ahead of him, you know, and he's got a double homicide case coming up. And to find a jury that doesn't know about this one and it's not going to be influenced about the fact that he was found guilty of this murder is going to be tough.
Yeah, certainly it's been a high-profile case. It's been a lengthy case. And out of curiosity, you might have some insight into this. I was curious about the expenses of defending Hernandez. I mean, here's a guy who has a lot of money from playing football, but here we have this first long, lengthy case with a strong defense team. Now you have an appeal on the way, and you have this double murder trial coming up as well. What is the expense like for someone in a high-profile case like this?
Well, I know what we charge, and it is very, very, very costly, and the reason for that is because an investigation is very costly, and the deeper investigation you have, the better the defense you have. Let me give you a quick example. The O.J. case, everybody remembers that. O.J. paid a couple $1 million for his defense. What did that buy him? That bought him an investigation that found a woman that the lead officer had lunch with and happened to use the N-word during that lunch meeting. That's the type of investigation a lot of money can get you. And that's huge. That turned out to be huge in the O.J. case. And that type of investigation is expensive because there's a lot of people that you talk to that don't have any evidence before you find the one person that does.
Last question, Brian, real quick. Talking about O.J., is there any chance that high-profile athlete cases like the O.J. Simpson case may potentially play into a case like the Aaron Hernandez case, that people in the back of their mind say, here's a football player on trial for murder, and perhaps they use what happened in the O.J. case as part of their decision-making?
You know, I don't know. You know, some of the jurors in this case didn't even know who the owner of the Patriots was when he testified. So I don't know how much that played into it. I mean, we see, evidence of athletes being falsely accused. We see evidence of athletes, admitting guilt. So it can go either way. I don't know how big of a role that played.
Okay, Brian Watkins, thanks so much again, as always, for your insight. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
I'm Michelle.